unplug till it dies again.
What?
Because if you keep plugging it up on 50%, it's gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm only 50%, and that's what it'll give you. It'll die fast if you keep doing that. And I'm pretty sure that's what you do. You plug every time you sit down, you plug your stuff up so it won't die, don't you? That's why it dies all the time.
I don't understand that. I'm sorry. I don't.
I understand, but I'm just telling you.
Hey, welcome to the DG show.
The reason for that.
With Dana and Coco. What's going on, folks? Tonight we are getting into Hebrews to Negroes. We are live on YouTube, the Angry Black Dude station, as well as the Angry Black Dude.
A nice show.
As well as there we go. As well as TikTok, the Angry Black Dude also. What's going on, folks? So I want to say this. I watched it for the controversy because Kyrie brought a whole bunch of attention to it. So I watched it for the controversy. And I ain't see much. Truthfully. Controversy. Yeah. Did you see any?
I did not. I saw part of it before. Because it's been up there since 2018.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yes,
2018.
I love documentaries. So it is something that I attempted to watch.
Right.
But it's like 3+ hours. And so it didn't grab me.
Hey, Callie.
And then all of this time now, when it came out with the controversy, I said, I don't remember controversy. Let me go back and watch it.
Right.
And so I watched it because of the controversy.
Right.
And my first time watching it, not so much. But I didn't remember it having controversy. I don't remember how much of it I watched. And it did not cost $11.
That's what I saw. Did it cost anything?
No.
Or would you just, if you were part of Amazon Prime,
it
was, listen, Jeff Bezos cashed in.
Yeah.
He just made some Wakanda money for
They know when to cash in. They know when to cash in.
It's $12, folks.
Yeah.
It's $12. So I'm gonna tell
$40 if you want to buy it. It's $11 to rent.
Right. It's for 48 hours.
Buy it. I think it's 40, 49. No, it might be 50.
It's 50. It's 50 to buy.
$49.99 to buy, and $11 to rent for 48 hours. So
someone just said, we talking about Hebrews to Negroes, the big controversy of the movie. We're doing a quick review. It ain't gonna be quick, but we're doing a review. So the first thing that surprised me was the same thing that let me know nobody watched that movie, because nobody talked about the fact that it's 3.5 hours long.
That's the first thing I saw. I'm like,
look, I got my notebook. I grabbed my notebook, had some snacks, sit down. 3.5 hours, 2 seconds. Yeah. 2 seconds. So just the fact that it was that long.
I did more than 2 seconds.
You said more than 2?
Yeah, I didn't have time.
Right. I'm with you because that's 3.5 hours. Yeah. Just the fact that it was that long and nobody commented on it, but everybody had something to say about it. I knew nobody watched it. They just went with you speaking against who? Well, we running with that.
Right.
I'm coming to their rescue. What you coming to their rescue for?
But I was curious to know the people who are really speaking on it against a particular group. I'm wondering if they actually watched the whole thing.
Right.
Because I don't think so. Because I didn't see. I see why Kyrie got in trouble, even though, my opinion, he did nothing wrong. I see why he got in trouble. I'm not saying that I agree with it.
Okay, but you understand.
But I understand why he got in trouble.
Right.
So, but he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything wrong. And I can't. What the movie did, in my opinion, is to make our people look at things, not differently, not any kind of way, just look at things.
Look at it.
Because
get the information, digest it for yourself.
And then go, because we talked about it and I said, I didn't take any notes on it. The reason I didn't take any notes is because I'm not gonna take what they said, run with it, and then say, oh, here's the truth.
Right.
I need to check fact what they said.
Right.
And
Right.
not enough of us check fact anything.
I agree. I agree.
We take a clip of something
And we run with
and
it.
we run with it.
We might run with it for years.
Right. And not to get on him, and I know we'll talk about him, but we was hating Kanye so bad when he said slavery was a choice. Did anybody ever listen to the whole thing?
Right,
what
to the
he
whole,
said, what he was
right.
talking about?
Right.
I don't think so, because they wouldn't have been mad at him.
Right.
He wasn't
He
saying
wants you to think
right.
another way.
He wasn't talking about chattel slavery. That's not what he was talking about. He was talking about the very same thing that Prince was talking about when he showed up with slave on his face.
Right.
That type of stuff. What Prince was talking about was the industry,
right,
and how them as artists don't
slave,
own their
right.
rights, and particularly they're slaves to the system.
Right.
That's what he was talking about. But you didn't listen to the whole video. You listened to the clip that said that he said slavery was a choice. That's all you listened to?
Right.
Was the clip. You didn't
click on whole interview.
Exactly,
right.
Because the first thing I wanted to do with this last thing was go back and listen to the whole thing, so I don't take it out of context, because we take these clips out of context because we watching the news, which again I don't particularly do. I do from time to time,
Definitely,
so I can keep my head in the game a little bit. Local news really sucks.
Yeah.
But we take these clips that they show us,
mm-hmm.
and then we run with the clip. We don't do any more research. We didn't go read the article. Right. Any of that stuff. So the movie just wanted you to go and look. Just look for yourself.
For some information.
For some information to try to see. And also, I wasn't interested in slamming any particular group
right.
of people or anything like that. I wasn't interested in that.
Right.
But that's not really what they did.
They didn't.
They didn't do
not
that
at all.
They used the Bible as a tool.
As a point of reference.
As a point of reference.
Yes.
And they didn't dissect the passage or anything, told you what the passage meant or anything like that. They said, this is what the passage says. Mm-hmm. And if the passage says this, these people in this area, these are what the people in this area looks like.
Right.
That's what they did, basically. And they identified the group of people that are from that area originally and things like that. Now, I paid attention in some areas that they spoke about, mm-hmm. only because I did my African DNA.
Okay.
And based on...
Well, you black, so what you, 89%?
No, I'm actually 70%. Okay. If you must know, I'm 70, because, we just a mixed bag of tricks.
I think I'm 98.
You'd be surprised.
I hope not, because I'm going, listen, I don't want to know no...
My girlfriend, and she was 94.
I don't...
And you would not look at her and say she 94.
Red bone.
And on not even just that, but
just
on
even her
level,
features and all.
Features, everything about it, you would not say she was 94%.
No, you know why? Because we've been told Africa looks a certain way.
Right.
That there are no light-skinned Africans without blood being, and it's definitely not true.
That's definitely not true. So according to my African DNA on my mother's side, mm-hmm. I don't want to say that word because I always get it wrong. Matricline, I think.
Matriarchal?
No, it says matricline.
Okay.
But I might have it slightly off. But my family comes from the Hausa tribe.
Okay.
And they talked about the Hausa tribe there.
Yeah, they
did. I listened with my good ear, mm-hmm. so I can hear what they said about the Hausa tribe.
About you.
About me.
Right.
Exactly. And I always look and see what the people look like and, mm-hmm. See if I see my twin, right. All that kind of stuff. Right. But so I did listen with my good ear at that point, and they didn't say anything based on what I've researched. They didn't say anything wrong.
Right, like outwardly wrong.
Right, nothing outwardly wrong. But I didn't have the time to go fact check some of the stuff they said. So I didn't take really good notes about it.
So I took notes specifically because I was looking for the mm-hmm. rah that everybody got this man apologizing. And
tell me why you mad, son.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for that.
Right.
And it was about, we talking about the German dude. It was about 4 to 6 minutes.
Mhm.
And it was he possibly said this. It wasn't even you understand? It wasn't it was, he may have said this from a book in 1980, long after he's gone.
Mhm.
That's the only piece that gave others a right to beef, in my opinion. Because anything
which
else,
part was that?
that was the part with the German dude, and they said that he was talking about who when people find out who the true
how
blacks
people
in
would feel when
America
they find
are.
out. Yeah.
Right, but that
Yeah.
was a quote that he may have said.
Right,
It wasn't
right.
something that was documented that he said.
Yeah.
And it didn't come out till the 80s in a book.
Mhm.
He probably didn't say it. They were probably trying to grabbing at straws and pulling on people's emotions and feelings.
And they took a lot of information from things
Listen,
we've heard in little clips here
a
and
whole
there
lot of
over
it.
the years.
It's very meticulous. Get your, if you listen, I would say, if you like to study, if you want to know more about yourself, or a person that's a Bible person,
Mhm.
get your Bible, get your notebook,
Mhm.
and go through it. It goes down the bloodlines. It goes
It
through
goes down the
so
bloodlines. It
much.
talks about, it breaks down DNA for people too.
Yes, it does.
It breaks down DNA
Yes,
for
it
you,
does.
and it tells you what certain DNA mean and why and how they can connect you and your DNA to a particular area or group or something like that.
Right.
And it breaks that down for you to help you better understand. But I didn't see anything
I didn't.
anybody should have been mad about it. But I have a problem with us throwing our people away
like that,
just like that,
without watching the movie.
Not even really just watching the movie, just in general. Whenever we have any one of us that starts talking about
Us,
anything that goes against what the mainstream wants us to know,
right?
Because that's all we watch. If you turn on the TV, you only going to watch what they want you to see, to a degree.
Right.
There are few things that you can watch and you're like, oh, okay. But you're only, and then mind you, and then pay attention, because we take in everything for entertainment purposes. Yeah. All of this is an entertainment.
All of it is. I agree. This movie is an entertainment.
I looked at it with the entertainment and with an entertainment eye, and
it may be entertaining, but it was made.
It wasn't entertaining because the first time I tried to watch it, I couldn't.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it may be entertaining to those that are maybe into the Bible real heavy. They might get into it, but it was made for educational purposes.
When I say entertaining, I'm talking about for the cinematic quality of it, because that's how we pull our people in. Ain't nobody gonna watch it otherwise.
I agree.
We over here dressing in our best African garb to go see.
Did they do it again this weekend?
Yeah,
the Negros.
That's doing that to go see Wakanda.
That's irritating.
They go see that to see Woman King, and they said it's loosely based on the truth. Wakanda ain't based on the truth.
Wakanda is a superhero movie.
It's a superhero movie. Now that's entertainment.
But even we cosplay ourselves when they tell us to celebrate us.
Yes, but even in entertainment,
we suckers.
We need to look at things with our good eye.
Yeah, we do.
Even in entertainment, because they do hide the truth in plain sight.
Yeah.
When we're not paying attention, and we're often not paying attention. So not to say that there aren't things to be noticed in entertainment, because we've been watching entertainment all our lives. But we'll argue that we had no representation. So if it's just entertainment, why we need representation? So clearly it matters. Mm-hmm. So even in these things that are entertainment, we need to look at with our good eye and discern for ourselves,
right,
what resonates with us.
But see, I'm gonna say this, because Kyrie said something that connects to what you just said. And Kyrie said he understands now why they said, if you want to hide stuff from Black folks, you put it in the books. Mm-hmm. This stuff you got to read, folks. If you want to know about you need some old books. You need some books that predate a whole lot of stuff, so you can compare it to certain things and have whatever you want to study and whatever you want to focus on. Mm-hmm. You have to get into some books, and truthfully, most of us don't understand. The more you read, your intelligence level just rises.
If you're a reader, it doesn't necessarily have to be entertaining you. When I've always been a reader, I've always been a researcher, just that's just the way I was raised.
Right.
And all of this stuff people talking about, I've been raised in this stuff. This not new.
But see,
None
that-
of this
but that-
information is
but-
new to me.
Right, but that makes a big difference though.
It does.
If it's
It
new
does.
to you, it
Right.
might be dragging on you. I don't want to get into that much. And
Or it bothers your
what you're used to.
what you're used
Yeah.
to hearing. And see, and that's the thing you need to pay attention to. If you're reading things, you know, educating yourself,
Mhm.
and you read something that's educational or edutainment, whatever way you want to look at it,
Right.
and it resonates with you,
Mhm.
but it bothers what you originally knew, pay attention.
It does. I agree.
Pay attention.
When you part of everybody's talking about breaking generational curses.
Mhm.
Part of breaking generational curses is just like what you said, Coco. When you come across something and it's definitely completely against what you've been taught all your
But it
life,
resonates with you.
but you can't.
It resonates.
You
can't
got
let
it.
it
You
go.
want to look it up a
can't-
little bit, or you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
think about it.
Pay attention.
Pay attention to it,
Mhm.
and most likely that's your soul telling you to gravitate towards
Yeah.
this because you've been taught some bullshit.
Look deeper is all I'm saying. Just look deeper.
Yeah.
A lot of us need a mind shift. We need a mind shift.
Yeah.
It's the things that have gotten us to this point up to now
Mhm.
has been good for us, but it hasn't gotten us to where we supposed to be as a people.
Right.
As a people, because we're not supposed to be against people. None of us are. We're not supposed to be out here fighting like the way that we do.
Right.
We're not supposed to be out here just mad at each other and
Yep.
just hating and all that. That's not what we're
But
supposed
certain
to do.
people put us in a situation, and even I'm gonna say this, since the and I thought about this earlier, since the mid 80s, our music for our youth, which is really that age, that 15 to like 27, 28, that's when all the change comes from the young ones. Well, we understand it or not, when you go back to the Black Panthers, look at their age. When you go back to SNCC, when you go back to MLK, when he first, you got to go back to when you're young. You just have that energy. They're shifted the energy with the music. They still have that energy. They still have the warrior spirit. They turned it on themselves.
Right.
They still have it. Imagine if that energy was somewhere else. Not the death and the murder, just the energy of ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me. Ain't nobody coming around in this neighborhood. Because that's how they carry it, but they do it on a small level against each other. That's the energy that got shifted with this music, as well as a lot of the entertainment culture also.
Mhm.
So we have to break what we've been groomed. Just
Yeah.
our thought. I'm talking about just our thought process.
We need to break the way we've been groomed to think.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do that on a larger scale unless people start.
It's individual,
looking.
but it's individual.
It is individual.
It's
and
individual.
you can't control anybody but yourself.
Mhm.
And then when you have the opportunity to connect with somebody like-minded,
Right.
and then you can start to bounce things off of each other, because it ain't necessarily good to keep it all to yourself either, because you can drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
This Negro needs something to bounce off of, because we leave it all up to you. We be flying off of all kind of hinges.
No, we won't.
And
We be all
I'm
right.
like, you said what now?
We be all right.
You tell me something. I'm like, let's tweak that though. Let's look at this here. Look at this piece.
But no,
of paper. Read this
I
book.
agree. I agree, because you can be, and I think that's why I'm not gonna say I walked away from religion,
Mhm.
but I went through I got baptized when it wasn't in the church with family. You know what I'm saying? So I got baptized. The church didn't rub me right. I thought about taking my shahada to become a Muslim, and then I got into the Quran, and I'm like, well, they the same stories as the Bible, and it was. But I'm talking about how I took it, and
Right.
because it was. I'm not gonna say I'm beyond religion, because that's kind of disrespectful, but I'm just a person that I just want to learn. Is it right? And I'm a person, like you said, we just supposed to love each other. That's what, if that makes you a better person, study it hard and
Right.
be a better person.
Now, I was raised a whole lot different. At the core, I was raised Moorish American.
Right.
At the core.
Right.
Now, I had to go to grandma's house like many people did. Grandma Baptist. Grandma gonna slap you. You in grandma's house on Sunday, you going to church.
And you smell all the pork cooking.
All the pork cooking, all of that. I didn't eat it. And she wasn't happy about me not eating it either. But it was there.
Right.
Now, that has to be quite confusing for a young person to spend as much time as I had to spend in the temple, rocking the turban, the whole nine,
right,
and then go to a Baptist church on Sunday with everybody falling out, preaching, and it wasn't confusing for me. I think it might have been confusing for one of my siblings. I'm not naming no names, but it wasn't confusing for me.
Right.
But it did make me think, because I'm like, why at home, mom and them doing this, and this, and this, and at grandma's house,
doing this and this.
Everybody's doing this, and this. But at the same time, as a young person, I'm like, ain't none of them right. Ain't none of them right. It didn't resonate with me. It wasn't right. It didn't resonate with me as a child.
Right.
And as I grew into an adult, all the stuff they were saying, it still didn't resonate. It's a bunch of BS. So I didn't like it. And so when I came to the age where my parents and them gave me a choice, I said, I ain't going neither one.
That's them teenage years, the middle teenage years. About 13, 14.
I said, I ain't messing with none of y'all.
Yeah.
Because something ain't right about none of this. That's just the way I felt. And so I started reading about Kemetic spirituality.
Okay.
I started reading about that.
Now let me ask you this. When you say you started reading about it, did you look into a couple of different things, or did you hear about it and you just gravitated towards it as soon as you got into it? Because I think a lot of us, we come across knowledge in different ways. Sometimes we need to hear the same thing a few times from a few different folks before we, you know what I mean?
No, I accept people from what I get from people.
Right.
Right. Because I done met some real staunch Christians.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
No,
from what I know about them.
Right.
I can't tell. Right. And I've met some people, because, I would meet the sister. How you doing today? I'm blessed and highly favored. But she didn't have to tell me that. Now, some people I've met and I'm blessed, and I'm like, really? But this what you give me?
Right.
Now, I'm not passing any judgment, but this is my experience, so I just decide if people are good people just based on my experience with the people, because I'm a good person, and you will meet me and you will know immediately that I'm a good person. Right. Now, you can assume I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, whatever you want to assume based on me being a good person.
I get as a Black man, and I guess my conversation and maybe the way I carry myself, I've gotten, are you in the nation? Talking about the Nation of Islam. Are you?
I can see how somebody would say that.
Are you from the Caribbean? Are your people African?
Yeah.
Things of that nature. And that let me know that they're trying to figure out,
because of your character,
because of my character, where it can't be from here.
Right.
Or if it's from here, it's reformed from here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It has to be some kind, they're trying to figure out where my discipline comes from, or just my general energy. So I used to be, you know what I mean? But I take that as a good thing now, because it's my energy that they're just reading. They're just trying to figure out where I'm coming from, but it's just your energy, my energy, like you say, character also.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
I'm a person of my word. I do what I say I'm going to do.
Right.
What you see is what you get. I tell the truth. And these are characteristics that I've always had. I didn't just wake up one day and I'm just going to be this wonderful person. I've always been this person. If you go back to childhood, I've always been this person.
I've always been the angry Black dude.
Yes, you have. But now I've grown, but I've always been this person to the core.
Right.
And so when I meet people who are not good people, it don't matter what your religion is to me. I
You're
don't
not a good person,
You're just not a
right?
good person, period.
Yep,
You're just not.
I agree with
And,
that.
and so I'm not looking at those things. You could tell me, because you have people that live by that. You're a Christian, I'm a Christian. We gonna be friends no matter what. I'm gonna take you in all your bullshit.
Yeah,
all
I'm not with that. I don't like that.
no,
I don't like
stay away
that.
from me.
I don't like that. And I don't like
Mhm.
people that are not good people that attach themselves to you and think that you're stuck with them because they're family. Because a lot of people do that too. And let's be honest, if it's people in this world that aren't good, they have relatives. So that means they're not good to their relatives also. So all of that, if that's you know what I'm saying? If that's the nah, stay away. I don't care if you blood.
Right.
If you nasty, you show
I
me.
got some really good people. I mean, my family, for the most part, we talk about this all the time. We really fuck with each other.
That's a blessing.
We pretty good. And I honestly don't have any cousins that I'm like,
Right.
I don't have that.
Right.
I just don't. And not for any particular reason. I'm not saying everybody's an angel, because that's not the case. But we really look out for each other.
But that's how it's supposed to be. That's a grooming of the bloodline.
Yeah.
Not just individuals. That's getting corrected when you little. No, you don't treat your cousin like that. We gotta have
right.
You know what I'm saying?
These my first friends.
Right.
I'm not treating you like that. And even my cousins I didn't even grow up with,
they're your cousin.
that I know now, they're my cousin. And we show each other love, and we build that bond, and then that's who we are. We're not treating anybody crazy.
Right.
It just doesn't happen.
Right.
I'm with you.
I'm with you. So we're talking about, we're supposed to be talking about
well, it ties back
Hebrews
to
the Negros. Oh no, definitely everything we're talking about.
To be Negroes now.
Yeah.
Let's speak on that. Negroes. Where'd that come from? Why you're a Negro?
I remember
why you're African American?
I did a post earlier. They keep changing our names every so often. And why is that? And it's no
why you colored?
Why you colored? I didn't even put colored in my video.
You put colored
so we Negro. No, we were colored. Were we colored before we was Negro? We were colored before we were Negro. First we was new. That was first.
Right. Then you were colored.
Then you were colored.
Then you were Negro.
Negro. Afro-American.
It wasn't African American. I don't know when it changed to African American, but it was Afro-American.
Only if you had a fist pick.
And then African American. But what stuck out to me about African American or Afro-American, I never liked the term, mind you.
Right.
What stuck out to me about it was that if you were from Africa and now you become a citizen of America,
it takes your identity.
African American. You're not considered African American.
You're not.
You're only African American if
you were born here.
If you were born here,
and descendants of the
but
slave.
a descendant of a slave. That's what makes you African American.
Right. So they're separating our bloodline, even though we look alike and we think it's race-based. It's not race-based with us.
Exactly.
Just us.
But we just embrace it as who I'm
because that's why I can't stand the fact that, and it's a leadership issue. And we're not gonna say it's not a leadership issue. It's a leadership issue because the folks that are working folks, regular citizens in the Black community,
we're not making these decisions.
We don't have the power to come out and say, well, we changed our name today to African American. All the church folks should be like, no, when we start that, who voted on that? What can we come to? Nobody, everybody just went with the flow because they put certain folks in front to say this, and everybody just went with it. And not just went with it, we were so happy to be African American. Ain't nothing attached to it, no nationality.
Ain't nothing attached to Africa.
How about that?
None of that. None of it. You attached to slavery is what you're attached to.
What you're attached to.
With the title or the nationality or the ethnic group of African American. You're attached to slavery is what it attaches you to.
That's great. It does. It does though. But this is the education we need to understand. We need to think about it. We don't need to have to figure it out. We're the only ones in the country now. Let's go to like I'll say the 1920s and 30s, when they had the mass migration of Europeans coming to America. They slowly got added to the white class.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because Irish, they couldn't stand the Irish.
You have
Italians,
Hispanic people coming over here adding to the white class.
Yes, it. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. That's why they vote that way.
They get to document that.
Yeah, I agree.
In their documents, they get to document
but
that.
I also it's a I want to say the rapper's name is Immortal Technique, and he's a want to say probably his folks are maybe from Colombia or something, but he's a New York dude. But he speaks on how the Spaniards never left.
Right.
All those South American countries. He said the Spaniards never left. He said, just look at the TV.
Yeah.
So, but when they come here, they're still coming here as immigrants. They're still impoverished in certain areas, but
like all the other immigrants.
But they're coming in and they get the check white.
Yeah.
They get the check white.
Yeah.
Or and their goal, and I've heard some folks speak on this, but many of their goals is to marry lighter and lighter, as to have no, because most of them have a grandmother or great grandmother that probably look like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the goal is to get that out so they can have that white privilege within the bloodline. But sad to say, colorism go like that in our community. We doing that too.
It do. I had a conversation a long time ago about marrying outside of your race. And I wanted to change the conversation to marrying outside of your color. I mean, your culture.
Okay.
Not your color. Because I probably would have had more in common with being with a white man in America than I had, well, not more in common per se, but culturally than I had with my Haitian husband. Very different cultures. Very different cultures. American culture, even though Black American culture is a little different from white American culture, but closer in a lot of similarities.
Right.
But we're talking about language barrier. We're talking about family culture barrier.
Yeah, behavior and certain things. Yeah.
Religion, everything.
Right.
Everything is different. Everything is different. And so nobody discusses that though.
No, we don't.
Because we both Black.
You both, yeah.
Because we just
y'all good.
Black.
Y'all good. Y'all in the house stressed out over some cultural stuff.
Right. But we both Black, so it's all good.
It ain't supposed to go that way.
Right. It ain't supposed to go that way. Now, it's a lot of different things I could speak on between cultures in my dating experience. I won't talk about it though. You'll never get me to talk about it. But I'm just saying, it's not the same. Is all I'm gonna say about it.
It's not. I can see that. I can definitely understand that. It's not the same. It's not the same. Cultures are, but with the American mind, we're very narrow-minded.
Very much so.
Even when we go on vacation, a lot of us don't want to experience we want to experience the fun, not necessarily get into the culture. And
some of us, yeah.
Some, but we going to party. We going to Jamaica to party.
Right. We want to go to hedonism.
Yeah, right. We going there. You know what I'm saying? So, but you're not coming amongst the people and having short enough conversations with people. Maybe talking to a couple elders. You know what I'm saying? Just that type of. That's a huge education when you travel, because you're gonna come across some folks that have some ways of thinking that may open your mind up to be like, wait a minute, like, hold on now, that ain't wrong. You know what I'm saying? Right, but that ain't wrong. I gotta think on that. You know what I'm saying? I might have to grab this book they talking about or something like that.
Some things that you've always done and you just never thought of it that way.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Might want to look into it.
It's a whole lot of different ways of doing the same thing.
And traveling will give you a very, very serious, a more open mind, to be more receptive. And you know what? Some of us don't want to be receptive to anything outside of what we've come to know. Right. Including what we've come to know. You just want to know what you learned. Yeah. You just want to know what they told you, your people. You want to, you
just want to be okay.
You just want to know that. You don't want to know anything that learn outside of that, because all of my experiences as an adult, that it was part of my whole learning process, and I had to unlearn some things that I learned. I told you when I had an opportunity to decide, I had to see some different things to decide for myself if those things I was taught matched up with what I was seeing, what I feel, what I learned. My new learning that I'm getting here.
And then let's add another layer, because this is a truthful layer that I think make a lot of folks timid of looking into certain things. You're gonna get chastised by your family. If you're looking at stuff, listen, let me tell you something. I've been the guy in the family that's into that black stuff since that black stuff since I was a teenager.
I was raised in the black
right.
stuff.
See, but that's a blessing. Right. Because when you reach more, it was a better understanding that okay, she's on her journey. But when you coming from I ain't gonna say strict Christian, but raised in the house, you went to church and all that kind of stuff, and you start coming around wearing red, black, and green and medallions, and you wearing Malcolm shirts, and you know what I'm saying? You starting to grow your dreads, and long time ago. You starting to grow your dreads and all that kind of stuff. Back in the day we faded the sides and just had the locks on top.
Right.
But that was a problem. That was a conversation in the house. You get that black stuff was real.
Yeah.
And it's still that way with a lot of families, whether we choose to understand it or not. They want you to be, this country grooms assimilation as much to the middle as everybody can get. Even listen to the politicians when they talk. They always talk about the middle. The middle is just what everybody does.
Right.
What everybody's good with.
Especially the elders, because look where they came from. You better tell that child to be quiet. For master, get up, come up over here.
Yeah.
We don't want no trouble.
I don't want no trouble.
Be quiet. Stop saying that stuff, girl. Because these people gonna come up in here and think all of us think like you. You starting stuff. You're gonna have to go away from here if you continue that behavior.
Yeah, we not with her.
You're gonna have to go down up north, down south, wherever you're gonna have to go up away from here.
Listen,
with it.
Prime example. Remember the movie Rosewood, which was based on a true story. But remember when stuff started happening and the white girl lied about a black stranger, and then the black stranger popped up, what the town say? Nah, you gotta go.
You got to go.
Yeah, they looking. We don't know if they looking
black strangers.
right.
You a black stranger.
We don't know if they looking for you.
Go away from
but
here.
you fit the description.
Fit the bill. You got to go.
You had to go.
We don't want no trouble. And see. I was just watching. What was I watching with my mother? And she asked me what I had. Oh, we were watching. It's a sitcom. I think it's on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's on a network or nothing. My mother watches this stuff. Family Reunion. Okay. And it's a happy, fun kind of show. Right. But they talk about serious issues. And one of the issues, it was the little boys, they were going home and they locked themselves out of the house. So they started looking around the house. And then 2 white cops show up holding guns on them, make them get on the ground. And then their parents come. Okay,
I'm listening.
Yeah, and their parents come and their parents are upset. The boys were shaking, they were upset, all of that. Right. And their father was like a former NBA player or something like that. Right. And then the mother didn't like what happened, so she had the father call and report that officer because the officer was being kind of cheeky with it. He was an asshole, but he recognized the father and was like, oh, I'm a fan. But then he was still kind of like, yeah, but you black, and kind of treating them that way, right? And so then the officer went on like a 2-day suspension or something. So the mother and father were riding down the street and they were stopped. The same officer pulled them over, and the officer in a very gentle way threatened them, letting them know, yeah, you reporting me,
leave me alone.
Got me 2 days, and I'm gonna go ahead and that, I'm off now, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you go this time. Like,
basically leave me alone. Right.
And so the wife decided they didn't want to live in Georgia anymore. She wanted to move back to Seattle because they're moving to Georgia and all of that. And she wanted to move back to Seattle. And he was saying, we're not going to run. And he said that they were going to report what had just happened. And she said, I don't want you to report what just happened, because then we really got to be scared, because they're going to keep coming after us if we keep reporting him. So what are we supposed to do? So he's like, he don't want to run, you know. And so my mother had asked me what I had left. I was like, me?
How old were the kids?
10.
You might have to leave because of the kids.
Something like that.
Because you can't, they're at that age where they could be alone coming from school or something like that. And he could be an asshole, or he's gonna.
I mean, and that's the way we think now. But think about the times. Ruby Bridges, 6 years old.
Right.
You wouldn't send your 6-year-old daughter to school knowing what she up against now. But they prepared the kids as much as they could have, and they knew that the kids could be in danger, but they did it anyway.
I don't think I could put my kid through no all-white school. The first time we walk into school and I'm looking down the street and they prepare like, yeah, bring your black ass down. No, baby, we transfer.
Right.
I'm not putting my child. Right. And I'm gonna say it this way. I went to Emerson Heights when it was all white. We had 5 black kids in the 6th grade. Yeah. We had cross burnt on our lawn. We had tires slid, house egged, in jokes all the time, physical fights in school. My mother and my stepfather moved there because they felt as though it was a better area and it was going to be better educated. And I didn't bring all the stress home. Right. A lot of the cars and the cross. Right. They knew about that, but me getting in all them physical battles and all that, they didn't know. In the community were very interesting, because I moved there. My family and I moved there sometime after you, right? And what I noticed, that it was one black family on each block. I lived a block over and 2 blocks up from you. They systematically did that. Each block there was just one black family. They wanted to integrate it, but they went, first off, that's slow, but it was a control mechanism too, of not letting us get too together. Yeah. But I'm with you. And that's why I was like, wait a minute now. Because you were the only black family on your block. Yeah. My family was the only black family on my block. And we could have a friend in the next block, in the next block, couple streets over. Yeah. You know, it was crazy to me. And I always looked at those. Raymond, though, like, but what the neighborhood look like right now? You maybe one white family. Oh, like they bound for sale sign, for sale sign, for sale sign. And the neighborhood is still immaculate. Yeah. And it still looks good. It still looks good. My mother, she moved to another house around there, and she's there now. But it's all black. You see a white person, you be like, what they doing around here? Yeah. They bounced. You lost. They bounced. They bounced. Left. Yeah. We started coming in and they left. That was them early 80s. Yeah. Early 80s. Yeah. When part of the laws coming into play, where a lot of our parents got government jobs, started making better money. Yeah. The redlining opened up a little bit more as far as allowing us in certain neighborhoods. They were still zoning it all crazy though, because where we lived, if you lived on your block across the street with the Catonsville. Right. Not just that, wait a minute, not just that cross, but even with the if you lived across the street to the left, you went to Woodlawn. Right. And then you went to, but I'm saying even like up the hill, you went to, everything was city side. Yes, up that hill right there, you went to Emerson. You went to Emerson? Yeah. Just up the hill, like we could walk to the top, and from the bottom where you live, you could walk to that top. But remember, you in the Emerson. That was all black. Yeah. But you come down that hill, it was all white. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. It was all, so it was definitely a whole lot of redlining going to, but we saw it change up, and for myself, I got to see, oh, y'all really don't mess with us like that. Y'all don't. That now, as much as we want to say integration was a good thing, we have to have a clear understanding. Integration was not a good thing. It was, but we still have to have understanding. It was forced on them like it was forced on us. Yeah. Don't act like if somebody moved next to you right now that you didn't like, that you would just get along with them because they told you. That's not how it works. No. That's why neighborhoods went that way. When a couple moved in, everybody gone.
The benefit for us, we lived next door to a young white couple.
Okay.
They were in their early to mid 20s.
A little liberal.
Yeah, they were very liberal, young couple. So we understood very well where they came from. But if they were a couple years older, they would have been a problem.
Right.
It would have been a problem.
I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I understand. I definitely understand.
They were newly married.
Mm-hmm.
Bought their first house. You had a couple of cats and dogs, didn't have their first child yet. They were very liberal.
Right.
Very liberal.
Right.
Tree huggers, all of that kind of. Yeah. Love everybody.
Tree huggers. I remember in that neighborhood. Remember Keith Broadwater, little short white boy? He brought a weed plant to elementary school like fifth grade. He used to hang with Steve Martin, the only black dude that would tell you he white.
Yes.
He was just so ill. It was.
Stop saying people's name on here.
I don't care about either one of them.
I know, but you can't just be putting people's name out there. It's not right.
All right.
You're infringing upon people. Let's not do that. You say their first name. Don't put people's surname out there like that. Because y'all don't go looking them up on their Facebook and all of that stuff to see where are they now. Let's not do that.
Well, I can tell them where they are.
No, that's not. That's not. That's hilarious. But yeah, but you understand where we come from, where we're coming from culturally, to just understand. And I listened to, did you listen to Farrakhan?
Oh, he was
said about it.
Yes.
I listened, and then I heard what Kanye said about what Farrakhan said. So he was correct in what he said.
Break it down real quick. Farrakhan and
if I can, he basically is saying that Kyrie did nothing wrong.
Right.
Clearly, Kyrie, and don't quote me on what I'm saying about what he said, but he basically said that clearly Kyrie is in search of himself. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
To get to know
he's learning
himself, right?
Yes.
Which is what he should do, he said.
Yes.
And so he's learning, and he saw a movie that resonated with him. Mm-hmm. And he felt like he wanted to share with others, everybody, to go to watch this movie, check this movie out, to see if they feel like he felt about the movie. He put no commentation on it. He didn't say anything. He was like, hey, here's a link to a movie. Now, because we get a lot of links. I don't click nobody link.
Yeah, I don't mess with you.
Don't click nobody link. We get a lot of links about some things, but because of who he is and the platform he's on, people were like, they started clicking that link, and it brought attention to the movie. Now, the way I said, they should have got this attention back in 2018.
That's why the outrage is fake to me. It's fake. Wait a minute, another spin on why it's coming out now, and they're attacking him now. So they talking about the vaccine, and in New York, all the police officers are getting their jobs back with back pay. Everybody that lost their job because they wouldn't take the jab getting their back pay. Mm-hmm. And guess what? Kyrie was the only one. They say they owe him like $100 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So you have that part. So now what he said,
that's a nice lump sum right there, home.
He said about
that's nice.
Kanye was that he too is seeking, and what he didn't say anything bad or good about Kanye. He was like, he just, he's a brother in these contracts, and he spoke around it kind of like that. And so basically both of them are in a position where these people have things over their heads, and they hang it over their heads, and they
money over their heads.
Money over their heads.
Right.
And Kanye wants no more part of that. He talked about how they mess with his money to control him, and he's breaking loose of all of that. Now, what Kanye said was that he appreciate Brother Farrakhan speaking on it, but he felt like the way he read it was a slight, and he don't take no disrespect from nobody, and that he feels slighted about it, and he shouldn't have been slighted. he went on to say some other things about
Right.
his mother being sacrificed and some
He
other
did
things
say
like
that. He did say his mother was sacrificed.
Well, folk, it is confirming things that we
done heard
over the years, you know, what the rumor said.
That's deep.
And
you can't sacrifice my mother.
Well, people,
another kind of situation.
Yes.
You can't come to now. I'll say that
I don't think it's done in that way. I'm right. Get into what I think.
Right. It might not be done in the way. It might just pop up, and that's what it was.
I started telling you what my thoughts about that stuff is. We be here a few hours, you know, and then next thing you know, you be seeing me done went viral on some mess that I done said, and I don't owe nobody nothing. Nobody owes me nothing. I ain't finna sacrifice nobody and nothing else. But we need to pay attention to these things. I'm not saying just take everything everybody said,
study,
but don't just take what you hear, run with it, and think and take that as the truth. Go look for yourself. The information is there. You know, the library's still open. Even Google don't tell you all of the truth. Nope. But the library's still open. They still have books in there. And
I'm gonna tell you something else. Every city has one or two Black bookstores. Yeah. Yes. Go in there and ask them something. Just ask a question about something. And they're gonna be like, oh, them 25 books right there.
Right. Now, I don't even know the names of our Black bookstores, but I know there's one on North Avenue.
That's everyone's place.
Yeah. And the other ones, the Sister Tia has.
Conscious Books. On Greenmount.
On Greenmount.
Yeah, I think it's called Conscious Books. I believe so.
Yes, on Greenmount. And she has a stall in Lexington Market now,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I think so.
Have you been to Lexington Market since it's been open?
I have not.
I'm scared to go down there. I bet ain't no methadone clinic down there like it was. I bet it's all cleaned up.
I bet they closed that thing the day they started groundbreaking.
Listen.
They had to get the zombies out.
I want to say they got another part to do because it was sections.
They did. They do. They still have another part to do, but they had to get the zombies out.
They had to get the zombies out because they want that subway stop.
Those day walkers were out there.
Yeah. Because you got a methadone clinic in an open market. You could chill all day.
Those day walkers were there.
Get a slice in the morning. Everybody spent $15 all day walking around doing nothing.
I like this vegan spot up there, Refocus. I like that.
Where's that at?
It's on Utah and
up towards the hospital?
The street. No, it's right up from
Lexington Market?
From the market. On the right, if you're going up the market that way, it's on the right hand side over there somewhere, like called Refocus Vegan.
Okay. It's
really good. Really good.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying, but that's my take on that. My short take on it and my takeaways.
My thing is, as far as the movie, no one that criticized it watched it. You're not gonna tell me that they did. You're not gonna. They don't have no specifics. All they saying is they would have known. Like, wait a minute now, hold on. So, but we are in a time. This is what we have to understand. People say the creator moves in strange ways, and a lot of times we don't understand it when it comes. Kyrie and Kanye may have been a sacrifice just so we'll start studying on a mass level. That's very because I promise you, Jeff Bezos just made out like a bandit since folks chose to pull up something from 2018 and said that's wrong. Everybody went.
That's the other thing I wanted to speak on it, and I know somebody else spoke on it, but they went after Kyrie. Took his Nike contract and all of that, but nobody said anything about Prime, Amazon, Bezos. Nobody said he didn't get a fine.
He didn't get nothing.
He didn't get a note to take it down.
Nothing.
Did he get a note?
They just starting to talk about it now, but it's too late now. Everybody started. Wait a minute, and on top of that, nobody wants to talk to the director of the film. He ain't been on no interviews.
He didn't come up off of it.
He's gonna eat them up.
Yeah, he has.
They don't want to talk
watch,
to him.
You see the other works he got planned.
Yeah, they don't
to
want
come
talk
out. He planning on coming for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I don't think they really, and that's what I'm talking about moving in strange ways.
Right.
This is a snowball effect that we're supposed to take advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
That we're supposed to be like, man, I've been thinking about reading up on this. I've been thinking about talking to this brother about. We have homework.
Do your homework.
We have homework. That's what this is about.
Homework. If you want to live better,
yeah.
If you want to get up out of your slump, you want do your homework because it will get you there. Yeah. It will get you there.
It will.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say something else.
You can't get that sleeping.
Showing a little bit of culture, showing a little bit of reading something different will touch your children in ways you can't comprehend. Because they see it.
Yeah. They're going to see the change in you.
Right.
Because once you have the information, you have no choice except to change.
Right.
And your children are going to see the change in you, and then they're going to change
automatically.
Automatically. Yeah. Because you're going to become a very different person. You can take a same person, right? And know this person, who they were at whatever particular time in space and time that you know them, right?
Right.
And when they go on a journey of educating themselves, of reading, of learning, doing something different than what they had always done up to that point, you're going to meet a very different person.
Right.
You're going to meet a very different person. And so that's what people mean when they say, if you knew me before,
right,
you don't know me now. You don't know who I am. Right. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I've been doing.
I've grown.
You don't know how I've grown. Yeah. You don't know any of that.
I don't even think the way I used to think. So yeah.
And you shouldn't. But when you start, it's very different people when you have someone who's ignorant. Ignorance meaning uneducated, and someone who is well read or educated, if you will.
Right.
Two very different people.
Yeah, I agree.
Two very different people.
Just a conversation. A conversation.
The look in people's faces, your eyes change. The way you move change. The conversation change. Everything changes.
The difference between Warnock and Herschel Walker. The one is well read and the one can't read a lick.
Ignorance. And it takes a group of ignorant folks to support them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But definitely good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like Coco said, there's homework to do. And don't stress yourself. I'm gonna read a little bit at a time. Digest
Don't binge.
Yeah, because you're gonna burn yourself out.
Just a little bit at a time. Yeah. There and for those who don't like to read, can't keep your attention, can't focus, things like there are videos
as well as audiobooks. Yeah.
Audiobooks. Because I'm a listener myself. I like audiobooks. I like to read
on an audiobook.
But I like audiobooks. That's the best way to get the information. To go to sleep on it. It sinks in and you didn't even know it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
That's right, but it's good. Good stuff. But we do have our homework to do, people.
Yeah, we do. So everybody start working on it, and we're gonna meet back here in 2027, and the Black community gonna be straight. We're gonna be good. Yeah, I mean, we coming back next week. I'm talking about the whole community. Pay attention to the plan.
Oh, you put a date on it.
Yeah.
I need to be for 2027.
What are we gonna do then?
What's this? 22?
It's almost 23. Put a date on 25.
Wait a minute,
She talking about when we getting our shit together.
Oh.
I don't got nothing to do with that.
I need my shit to be together before I'm 57.
Okay, well, see, no, that's 2 years. You said before, 27, yeah, you be 57.
Yeah, I'm gonna need my shit together before that.
I asked you when. We had to get back to y'all on that. Plans for the Black community. We complaining.
I'm 55. My shit got to be all the way together.
Look, somebody asked you, are we married? No, we not married. She was just talking about our husband.
My husband. We are not married, okay? We've been friends a long time, but we ain't married.
Yeah, no, we not married. We ain't. Frenchie. Y'all trying to get me in. Y'all trying to get me swung on. He might be waiting in the parking lot. I have known him
longer than I've known my husband, though.
Ooh.
I have.
On this note, this is the DG show with Dana and Coco. TikTok and Facebook. Good night.
Good night.